Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're just going to give it a minute or two to allow for everyone that's going to be attending today to join the webinar. So thank you so much for your patience, and we'll get started in a few moments.
This is great. I see people are rolling in. If you all want to put in the chat, I can see it for now until we start, but what your business is, what type of business, because we're going to do a Q&A at the end, and that'll be really helpful if I know. I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of everybody in this presentation so you all can walk away with something, but I'd love to know who you are and your business, and I can see it again when we're done.
Thank you so much, Christina. Hello and welcome, everyone. So now we're going to get started. My name is Lauren Suma, and I am the town's resident advocate. Today, we are very excited to be offering this webinar focused on helping our small businesses here in North Hempstead utilize social media and public relations to enhance their marketing strategies and maximize their reach here in North Hempstead and beyond. The webinar will be hosted by Christina Daves from PR for Anyone and will provide many important tactics, tools, and tips to succeed. If you have any questions regarding the information Christina is presenting or general questions, please place them in the chat box and we will attempt to address as many as possible at the end of the program. But before we begin the presentation, it is my great pleasure to introduce North Hempstead Supervisor Judy Bosworth. Judy has worked tirelessly to implement and create new initiatives for our business community and to ensure that they have the support needed at a local level to thrive. Without any further ado, I am pleased to introduce North Hempstead Supervisor Judy Bosworth. Supervisor?
Thanks so much, Lauren. Good afternoon, everyone. We're so delighted that you joined us. As Lauren said, my name is Judy Bosworth, and I'm the supervisor of the town of North Hempstead. We so appreciate you joining us for our social media and PR workshop. We're excited, especially to have Christina Daves here to assist our local businesses, with telling us how we can increase visibility, attract new customers, discuss best practices for increasing media coverage, and so much more. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic has presented all of us, and especially our local business community, with incredibly challenging landscapes from which to operate. We at the town have recognized the difficulties that business owners like yourselves are facing, and we've tried to help in as many ways as we could. Over the course of the last year, we've implemented some very different kinds of initiatives, and the goal has been to assist our local businesses during these challenging times. So one of the things that we created was our Lift Up Local initiative to assist our local businesses, especially in the recovery effort. We've provided outdoor dining options at our local parks, including Town Dock in Port Washington, Mary Jane Davies in Manhasset, Bloomfield Family Park in Port Washington, Manhattan, Martin Bunky Reed in Westbury, and our Clark Botanic Garden in Alberton. We also have a parklet program that allows participating restaurants to create parklets on the street in front of their businesses, which permits parking spaces adjacent to the storefronts to be used for outdoor dining. We've helped to facilitate the opportunity to close streets for outdoor dining and retail use, a program that we're still operating today. We've also provided our local chambers of commerce with storefront posters for their particular business district and installed signage in the community, encouraging residents to shop local. The one thing we know is that we can't say it enough: shop local, shop small. We've got to do everything that we can to encourage our North Hempstead residents to stay right here and to shop with all of you. All of these initiatives were developed through an internal business recovery COVID-19 response work group, which includes members of our town board. I'm so appreciative of the hard work and dedication that they have shown and that our local chambers of commerce have demonstrated on behalf of our businesses. So 2021 has actually gotten off to a good start with the launch of our Small Business Spotlight Initiative. And so what that does is that highlights local businesses throughout North Hempstead by promoting the goods and services they provide. If you're interested in participating in that, call 311. They're ready to take your information and to make sure that we're able to highlight you as well. Additionally, all businesses featured will be part of an online directory on the town's website. We've also kicked off our Shopopoly game. That's a lot to say. And we've done that in partnership with Mineola, Williston Park, New Hyde Park, and the Westbury Carl Place Chambers. And that's also designed to further assist businesses in encouraging our residents to shop local. What we're doing is we're joining with our local chambers by providing shoppers with the opportunity to win prizes. Now, who doesn't like to win prizes? To win prizes when shopping at small businesses in our downtown. So just grab a game board from a local participating retailer, save and submit your receipts, and you'll be eligible to win a big screen TV or gift cards. It's as simple as easy as that. Today's social media and PR webinar is our latest effort to assist the local business community, and we hope that you will take advantage of all that Christina has to offer. We understand how critical it is for us to encourage our residents to shop small, dine locally, and support our neighborhood businesses. I've said it before, my feeling is you can't say it enough. Our goal with all of our programs, including the webinar today, is to assist you in small business recovery, and we will do all that we can to reinforce that shop local message. And a great way to do that is with this webinar that we're hosting today. And I'm so delighted that Christina Daves is able to join us. So Christina started PR for Anyone in 2012. So she was really ahead of the curve, understanding that there's always opportunities for PR, and especially during this time of COVID, this is the greatest time to try to understand what we can do virtually and through our businesses to get that message out. Christina has been featured by more than 1,000 media outlets, so she's no novice at this, and we are looking so forward to hearing what she has to speak to us about. She's going to teach us how to increase visibility for your businesses, how to attract new customers, ways to differentiate your business from your competitors, best practices to getting media coverage, and so much more. Christine, I know everyone is excited and looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So take it away, Christina.
Well, and I want to thank you, Lauren, for setting this up. And Judy, this is wonderful. I get super excited about this because it really does work for business. So bear with me 1 second. Let me share my screen. And we have the ability, we're going to do Q&A at the end. So if you all have questions, just put them in the chat. And I just want to make sure from Lauren and Judy, you can see my screen.
Yes.
Are we good? Okay. All right, great. So as we said, what we're going to talk about today is, how can you stand out? How do you differentiate? And media is a tremendous way to do that. And the great thing about media is it doesn't cost anything once you learn how to do it. This is how a lot of us feel, right? After this year of COVID, we're just in this hamster wheel of, oh my gosh, everybody's home. So what did everybody do? Everybody went online. And we didn't know, a lot of people didn't know how to be different. Zoom exploded. I've been using Zoom forever. I was like, get off my Zoom. It just keeps crashing. So learning how to differentiate and stand out. So I want you to close your eyes just for a minute and imagine it's June 2nd, 2022. What does your business look like? How many customers do you want to have? How many clients do you want to have compared to where you are right now? And as I go through all of this, I want you to see and realize how you can hit those goals with this. I'm going to give you guys a lot of information. The town said, come bring this. It's not going to resonate with everybody. This might resonate with the restaurant. This might resonate with the service provider. So I'm going to give you lots of examples, but when the ding dong goes off in your head, you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Write that down, because what you resonate with is what you're actually going to do. And when you write it down, there's studies that show you're more likely to do it. So don't feel like I'm fire hosing you. You don't need to do all of this, but if you can do 1 or 2 things in this presentation today, it will make your June 2nd, 2022 so much better than this year. So what's anyone going to do before they work with you? Whether you are a restaurant or you are a service provider or your brick and mortar service, they're going to Google you, right? So imagine if you're a real estate agent and somebody types your name into Google and they see this. And this is a real client of mine. NBC Washington, Realtor Radio Washington, obviously in the DC area, Washingtonian.com, Washington Post. That's going to make you think, wow, right? And this is the value of this. We all have websites. We all, have a social media presence. But until we build that muscle from people who have bigger followings than we do and more Google juice than we do, that's how this starts to happen. And that's why media, it's so easy, because they've got the Google juice. So let's get in the media and let them push us up in these Google searches. PR is one piece of it. This is kind of the big, if you want to be captivating, if you want people to find you, and again, I'm not overwhelming you. These are all little tweaks. You all, I'm sure you've got websites, you have things, but make sure your brand is consistent. Make sure it was funny, I did a podcast earlier today and she said, I knew you'd be in pink. It kind of happened organically, but I'm always in pink. That's my brand color. And the reason I do that is one time I went out to an event and somebody recognized me and they said, hey, you're the PR lady in pink, but you're not in pink. And I said, ding, 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 that's it. I only wear pink when I'm on TV or do presentations or speak. So think of your brand, make sure it's consistent. And what do people feel when they think about your business? That's what a brand is. Your message. What is your customer's biggest pain point and how do you answer it? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's your messaging. Boom. It's that simple. What do they struggle with? How do you fix it? Obviously media, we're going to talk a lot about that. On-camera magnetism, video is super important right now. It just is. Practice makes perfect. My first video, I was literally reading sticky notes like this all around my laptop. And now I do things like this all the time. I am on TV. I never, 5 years ago, this would have never been in my realm of possibility. So turn it into muscle memory, just practice. If you need to practice at home with your camera or turn your camera the other way to start, so it's just your voice until you get used to it, but get used to it because it really is a game changer. And then your online presence. And you don't have to be everywhere. We're going to talk about that too. And I'm going to give you simple tweaks for every platform that will just make you more visible. Because these days are gone, at least for a while. These crazy, you guys are all in New York, maybe the subway looks like this again, but we're not going to have the types of events that we did. We're going to have more hybrid events. We know not everyone's going back in the office ever. We've heard of some companies who are never going back. So we really have to stand out. And that's what all of this today is. What's the one thing, really one thing of everything I talk about, what's that one thing you can do just to make yourself stand out a little bit from your competitor? Because the more visible you are, the more customers and clients you're going to get, and the more profit your business is going to have. And I like to call this, I love this slide. It's my favorite slide. It's the power of PR. It's the power of publicity. And you all have this power. You have the ability to do this. You don't need a PR firm. You don't. I myself have been in 1,000 media outlets. I've worked with thousands of people who get in the media every single day, and it's just learning the system. And this is the system. You all can screenshot this if you want. It's going to come back later. I have a free gift for you at the end, which is going to summarize all of this for you. So if you're taking notes, that's great because it's important to write it down. But just know that you'll be able to get something that has all of this in it. But you want to be newsworthy, which we're going to talk about. You want to create great hooks, and you want to find the right journalist. I call it my Get PR Famous formula, and I promise you it works. This is one of my clients, Janae Kreitner. She is a registered nurse in Virginia Beach, and she has a home health care system or company. Sorry. So we got her on TV and Coast Live. She was actually talking about COVID and dealing with the elderly. Remember how horrible it was. You all, especially in New York, know more than anybody with the nursing homes. So Trina went on to talk about, taking care of your elderly relatives. Literally, it was a 15-minute drive back to her office. She had 5 new clients, 5. So this stuff works. And this is why I get so excited about it. I'm going to blow through this quickly just so you guys know who I am. But I am Christina Daves, and I am not a publicist. Most important thing, I'm not a traditional PR person. I'm a PR strategist. I taught myself everything that I'm going to share with you, and I do it every single day in my business. And just so you know, I'm actually going on vacation tomorrow. And when I get back on June 14th, I have a television appearance I pitched myself for. So I do all of this. So just know that it works. Here I am on the Steve Harvey Show. I invented a product. That's how all of this started. Fashion accessories for medical boots. I won Steve Harvey's Top Inventor competition. I was on Bloomberg Radio. I've been in Forbes. This was a syndicated television program. And I just show you this, not to brag or to be boastful, but to tell you it works. And I get really excited. And this changed my business. I was broke. Dead broke. We had mortgaged our house to make these fashion accessories because we thought it was going to be fabulous. And it was, but I didn't know that I really needed to get the word out. And I couldn't afford a PR firm. So all of these media appearances changed my life, really. And that's why I'm going to share all of this with you today. Because the world we live in is noisy. It's crazy. It's advertising, whether you're online or, I can't wait to be back in Times Square like this. But we're overwhelmed by it. So it's really important that we learn how to stand out. It used to be it's 7 seconds to grab attention. You now have 3. That's where that messaging piece comes in. You've got to hit people, boom, with what their problem is and how you solve their problem. So start thinking about that and write that down in 1 sentence. I know, and we'll talk about niching. Actually, I'll wait till we talk about niching and then we'll go into this. Because we need you to stand out from everybody, from all of your competitors. And it doesn't matter if I saw somebody put in their bookkeeping service. It doesn't matter if there are 5 bookkeeping services on this call. You all do something differently. You all have a unique perspective that you can bring to the table. So we're going to get started. Okay, the very first thing is being newsworthy. How do you come up with things that the media is going to be interested in, that the media is going to want to cover you? Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. As much as we love the media coverage, their goal is to provide value to their audience. So that's where we're going to start. This is what I want for all of you. Okay, I want logos. Like logos, when people put your name into Google, they see this and they can click on it. Whether it's your local paper, might be all you need. Whether it's your local radio, whether it's a podcast that they can hear about you and learn about you. People want to work with people, and that's how they learn about you. And this gives you so much credibility. And there are studies that show that people who have this media and people who have these logos actually can charge more money. And the other thing that I talked about earlier was your social footprint, your digital footprint. The more media you get, the more internet muscle, I call it Google juice, you get, and the more you go up in the rankings. So when people type your name in, which they're absolutely going to do, you're going to start to come up first, and you're going to show up in media, and they're going to go, wow, that's where I want to go. Or that's, if the media is covering that person, they must be really good at what they do. So being newsworthy, I want you to think of yourself as in your own bowl. I want you to be unique and different. Don't pitch the stories, the easy stories that everybody's going to pitch. Pitch something that's unique and interesting. And it starts with a niche. That's what I was saying a little bit earlier. So every one of you, even if there were 200 people on this call and you all had the exact same topic, every one of you has a different red center. Every one of you does something special for somebody. And people are so afraid of this. They're like, oh no, Christina, I can serve everybody. Well, sure you can in your business. But when you hone that messaging down to who your ideal client is, and that's what you're putting out there, that's what you're pitching the media, that's what you're putting out on social media, guess who you're attracting? Your ideal client, and they are going to come to you versus somebody else. And this could be even, maybe you run marathons. Maybe it's a charity that you're involved with. What is it that's unique about you and what you do that's different from your competitor. And then think of your ideal client, your most favorite person that you love to work with. Why? What is it about them? Because that's who you want to speak to in your videos. That's who you want to speak to in your social media. Who is that person you're dying to work with? And speak to them and niche it down. I promise it will grow your business. I can't see the chat, but if there are any realtors in here, go ahead and just put, yes, I'm a realtor in the chat, and I'll see it at the end. But there is a Keller Williams agent in Tampa, Florida, and she started out in real estate. And what's the average realtor make? $40,000 a year. But she lives in a nudist community. Come to find out, Tampa, Florida has the most nudist communities of anywhere in the United States. Who do? But she honed in on that. And she's like, hey, I live here. This is my lifestyle. So she dubbed herself the Naked Realtor and just went to those communities. That's where she got listings and sales. She is the #1 team in the state of Florida and does 8 figures a year. Now, how many of you all would be willing to niche your business down to go from 40,000 to 8 figures? And she limited herself to nudist communities. I know it's the biggest in the country, but how many could there really be? So this is why I really don't want you to be afraid of that. I know we want to serve everybody, but when you start to hone in and really get your messaging into that particular group, I promise your business will grow. So that's your first step. Now, the next thing about getting in the media actually is what we call newsjacking. It's taking what's going on in the news right now, and you're going to insert yourself as the expert. And that's, it's been COVID. I'm going to give you an example of somebody who just took COVID and ran with it and was in the media for an entire year. But whatever's going on, and it doesn't have to be in your backyard. I think somebody say they were an insurance agent. Let's say there are fires going on in California. You can pitch your local media and say, what if there was a fire in your town? Do you all have fire insurance? What is covered? If there's a flood or hurricane, I live in Virginia and we can't get flood insurance because we have that risk of hurricanes. You have to have a special kind of insurance. So something like that, if there's a hurricane in Florida, and I don't know exactly where you all in terms of, like when Hurricane Sandy came in, if you all were hit or not, but there's an example. You see it's coming, you can come in. You could be a roofer and talk about, what happens if there's a big hailstorm. You could be the expert talking about, like, we had a hailstorm, we got a free roof. I didn't even know that was a thing. Somebody called us and said, hey, we'll check your roof for damage. So this is a great way to generate business. That roofing company got paid from the insurance company. We didn't have to pay anything. So by being in tune to what's going on in the media, again, insert yourself into that and be willing to pitch, because the media needs us. They're going to get the stories. If they're going to use me, or they're going to use you, or they're going to use somebody else on the call. But that in your industry, the media interviews experts all the time. So I don't want you to be afraid of the media. That's one big thing I hear, like, the media, I can't call a newsroom. Yes, you can. They're just like us. They're exactly like us. They're even more overworked than we are. So they're desperate for good stories. So this is super easy, because the media starts with the big, meaty story that's going on, and then they want all the peripheral stories around that. A great example, if you guys remember years ago when Target, it was kind of the first hacking that came out, and it was Black Friday. And I remember I had shopped at Target on Black Friday, and the first expert that my NBC station had, it like the news came out at 1, so it was the 4 o'clock news. They had a business coach. I'm like, where's the cloud guy telling me how many people have my credit card number, right? That's the first thing I think of. First thing the media thinks of is, oh, this business coach called, said I can be in studio at 4 o'clock and I will tell you what this is going to do to Target. Now, by the 6 o'clock news, they had a cloud person on, but somebody was smart and jumped on it. So I'm going to give you a bunch of examples, because I really find that by seeing what other people have done, you'll get that aha moment that I can do this. I know I can do this. So it might not be exactly your industry, but I'm going to show you what they did and see if that helps you. And again, I'm going to take Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions specific to your industry, if I didn't hit your industry, we'll absolutely go over it. I talked about Ashley earlier. I showed you all the media she gets. She's like my rock star. I so love her. I love when I turn on, because she's local to me, when I turn on my TV and there she is. But this started, Amazon HQ2 came to the Northern Virginia area, if you guys remember that, because I know there was somewhere up in New York as well we were all kind of vying for it. So instead of Ashley just going to the media saying, oh, I'm in that area, let me talk about the real estate market, she pitched that story with an extra angle. She said, hey, I'm headed out to Seattle on a family vacation. Let me talk to some realtors out there. Let me talk to some people and see what happened to the real estate market right when Amazon came. And I'll take B-roll. And B-roll is, I don't have my phone, but B-roll is literally you're just taking video of maybe neighborhoods or whatever. It doesn't have to be professionally done. They'll edit your stuff in there. Matter of fact, the segment I have when I come back on Monday, he's already asked me to film some B-roll. So that's just knowing their lingo and what you can do for them. Value is what you want to do. Adam was a rock star in COVID. So Adam owns an HR company. And when COVID started, he came to me in February. And if you guys can't even remember what a year ago February was like, there was this virus in China. That was it. And he was starting to hear buzz of his clients of big companies who had trade shows in China. And the people didn't want to go. They're like, I don't know. This is before we knew we were in a global pandemic. This was just some viruses making people really sick in China. So he starts pitching the media with that. And with everything that happened related to businesses in HR, he was on it. And he's been my student for years, but I was so proud of him, because then we got locked down. What was it, March 15th, 18th, around then? So then, and my husband's a perfect example. He owns a small business. They have 60 employees. They had no work from home policy. He's a construction company. You can't work from home in construction, but the admin staff needed to. So he had to write a work from home policy. Well, that's what Adam then pitched. How do you do that if you don't have it? And then how do you, all the Zoom calls, all of that. He literally has gone, and now it's, how do you safely bring your teams back? How do you bring your teams back if not everybody wants to come back? How do you do the hybrid approach? So these are just a couple. He's been on TV consistently for the last year, and he gets so much business from this, because imagine every time you're in the media, you're going to send it out to your existing clients and customers and to your potential clients and customers. And it's a perfect way to get in the door. Hey, John, I was just quoted in the New York Times about bringing your company back safely to work. And I know you guys, I just read that you guys are starting to bring your people back. I thought this might be helpful for you. See how you can use media, and you're not selling. You don't have to say, buy from me, buy from me. You can just use what you're getting from the media and just, here you go, keeps your foot in the door, keeps you front of mind. And if you own a brick and mortar, it's huge. I mean, that you will get customers in the door just from people reading that, but then you get to use that on your website too. Here's a travel agent example. This was when the hurricanes were hitting. I think it doesn't say, I think it was Aruba, Bahamas, somewhere. Remember we had the horrible ones. I think it was Hurricane Marie, like Puerto Rico. And she pitched the story about, what if you're supposed to be going on vacation and you don't have travel insurance? What do you do? Like, how can you get out of it? Boom, took a trending story, jumped on it. She was on Great Day, Washington. Okay, so that's newsworthy, newsjacking, like what's happening now. That's how you jump on. Now you can plan out what you're going to pitch the media using the calendar. And you can use the regular calendar, and you can use what we call the non-traditional calendar. So this is a charity called Saving Promise. This woman's granddaughter, 5th generation, suffered domestic violence. So she started this nonprofit. October is Domestic Violence Prevention Month. So you see how this is a no-brainer. When you pitch them ideas that fit for what they're doing, it's a no-brainer, and you're always going to get the yes. So if you have a charity that's associated with something that's happening on a certain month, you could pitch that. Here's one of my favorites, National Hot Dog Day. So you can look at all these crazy holidays. So my client was Slausa, and this is it's in food stores all across the country, but it's a mix of coleslaw, salsa, and mustard. And She was brilliant. She heard Dylan Dreyer say she loved to put toppings on her hot dog. And normally I would not tell you mail something to the Today Show because it'll never come. But anyway, so if you have a product like this, I wouldn't just send it. But she heard that. So her note that she wrote to Dylan said, I saw you on this. So even if her assistant opens it or the mailroom, that's a cue that, oh, I should really give this to her. They're not sending this in cold. Dylan said, I love to top it. And on National Hot Dog Day, 7 million people learned about Slausa. And she told the story. You know, this woman heard me say this and she mailed it in. So by listening and really paying attention to your dream media outlets and then tying it in, like Hot Dog Day, perfect for a product like Slausa. Valentine's Day is a no-brainer for a florist, right? But every florist in your town is going to pitch Valentine's Day. So what we did here, which was really smart, is this florist has been around. It was a family-run business, had been around for 50 some years. Well, for Valentine's Day, she takes kids from the local high school and she hires like 100 of them. They all make money. They're all cutting flowers, putting flowers together. So it was a great community feel-good story. And again, you never know what you're going to get. They ended up at her florist the entire 3-hour segment and they kept cutting back. And they actually had the host here deliver someone's flowers to her on Valentine's Day, which was super cool. So remember, we're the fish jumping out of the bowl, not just Valentine's Day, but you hire all these kids. You hire 100 kids from the local high school. You're supporting the community. You know, you're paying these kids. It's great for them. And she took B-roll because, of course, they're there before Valentine's Day. So again, just with her camera, just took pictures of all the kids working, and that added to the story. And then on the other side of this, again, thinking outside of the box, this is a cupcakery. So, and I wish I could see the chat. I would have you guys guess what it is. And then I'm going to say 99% of you are going to say it's National Cupcake Day, but it's not. This is where the twist comes in. Do you see the plate of bacon? It was for National Bacon Day, and they launched their maple bacon cupcake instead. So all the bacon companies or restaurants who wanted to come in talking about bacon, this is unique. It's a cool, fun, unique twist to the standard story. So what this really is just taking a step back and thinking outside of the box a little bit. When you pitch something different than everybody else is going to pitch, you've got a unique angle to come in on, and they're going to see that. And we're going to talk about hooks in a minute, and you're going to make sure that hook is something that grabs their attention in the subject line. So they're going to want to say yes to you. And then, here, I noticed there was a restaurant I saw on early. You guys can screenshot this. This is not in my end of the presentation gift because I just came up because we're doing June, but these are all things, and the media loves this. You guys are going to see this all the time now. Like I just heard National Donut Day is June 4th. So the donut, people are going to be doing things, but look, I saw the ramen. There was a ramen company, the only ramen around, which sounds delicious, but National Fresh Food and Vegetable Month. That is a great thing to pitch. So you probably have some amazing ramen that has fresh vegetables in it. Invite them to your restaurant. And I don't know if your television stations are back in. Mine are not. I'm doing mine remote. But invite them to come in and, tell them, hey, we can do a segment from here. We know we'll get lighting, we'll do whatever, and then have somebody help you to make sure that you sound good and you're lit up well, because that's super important. I keep seeing this on TV where you can't hear the people or there's a horrible echo. Like, don't do this. But here's some ideas. So screenshot this if you are a restaurant or dessert store or anything like that. There's lots of great things on here. And then the last example I love to give, my client, Janae Kreitner. And Janae is amazing. She's in Orange County, California, and she owns 17 homeless shelters. This woman is salt of the earth. And when we started working together, she said, Christina, and the name of the organization is Grandma's House of Hope, after her mother. And she said, I just want to get Grandma's House of Hope in the media. Because for anyone who has a nonprofit, if you get in the media, people relate. That's that niche. People who relate to homelessness are going to give money. That's what a nonprofit needs. They need money. So I said, Janae, I'm going to position you as the expert in homelessness. And she said, absolutely not. Like, this is not what I want to do. I want to Grandma's House of Hope. But we can't get Grandma's House of Hope on every single month. But we can get Janae on every single month, because we can talk about, a study came out about cancer in the homeless. This is horrible. I did not know this. You cannot have chemotherapy if you're homeless, because they can't let you leave. You have to have a home to go to. So one of her homes is for homeless cancer victims. She has ones for children, for trafficked people, all different. Every home has its kind of a different theme of the homeless. So every time something comes out related to one of those themes, she gets on TV, and it's consistent, regular, all the time. And there it says, Grandma's House of Hope founder. So again, I want you guys to think a little bit bigger, a little bit outside of your box. Whatever your business is, you are an expert in that industry, not just your little ABC shop, of the entire industry. So look at the bigger picture and how can you insert yourself into that conversation. So I hope that feels good. Like that's really like your local media, how you're getting in. Feel free to put any questions in and I'll get to them at the end. Now, national media. I know you all are local businesses, and that's fantastic. The cool thing about national media is the credibility that goes with it. Are people going to walk in the door because they saw you on the Today Show, making ramen on the Today Show? Maybe, they might. But you're more likely to use that in your shop local marketing, like, hey, the Today Show just featured us, or whatever it may be, whatever, if it's a regional magazine, anything like that, for you to take advantage of that extra credibility that comes with it. Most of you do not need to do this. Some of you will want to do this. So I'm just giving you some examples so you can see how easy it is to get national media, to have those logos on your website, to position yourself more as an expert. So this is the first one, super easy. Screenshot this, write this down. The gift that I'm giving you at the end will tell you exactly how to respond to these queries. So helpareporter.com, they are journalists across the country looking for experts. It's really that easy. It comes out 3 times a day. It's horribly monotonous. It was a 90s program that they haven't updated to 2020. So it's literally just a list of queries. It's worth your 5 minutes. It's 3 times a day. It comes out, and we're all East Coast, 6 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening. Totally worth your time. If you miss it, skip it. And you'll see all that in what I give you at the end. But this is how I got on Steve Harvey, how I got on Dr. Oz, maybe I got on Bloomberg, for sure how I got in Forbes, Entrepreneur. A big chunk of those 1,000 media outlets come from this. So I definitely, if you want that little bit of edge and extra credibility, sign up for this. It's free. They're going to call you and ask you to sign up for a paid version. I've never paid. 1,000 media outlets, I've never paid a penny. Don't pay. Just do it when you can do it. If you're busy, don't do it, but try to get it in. If this is what you want, try to get it into your marketing routine. Like, you just have to scan it. It's super easy. Use my example on how to respond and you're done. Now, this one's relatively new and it's pretty cool. It's called Quoted, quoted.com, QW. And it started out as a financial platform. And I know somebody before I shared said they were a bookkeeping service. For you, I would absolutely sign up for Quoted. For a restaurant, I don't know that I would. A brick and mortar, maybe, maybe not. Harrow for sure. But Quoted is the same thing. They send out queries of people looking, but these are big. Like, I've been on Fox Business through Quoted, Wall Street Journal, like some big platforms are on here. Again, if you're tax, insurance, bookkeeping, accounting, anything related to that, I would absolutely sign up. You only get 3 queries free a month. That's new. They just changed this. I would test the waters, play around with it, see if it works for you. But pay attention, because a lot of times they go on Quoted and they go on Harrow. And Quoted, you're going to ding, you're going to use one of your 3 when you can get the same result in Harrow. So just by making this part of your everyday, it's so easy. I'm telling you, I don't even do it that much anymore because I have so much media. I have so much credibility. These are the things that I did. And, save your boilerplate, save your things. You're just cutting and pasting and personalizing to that person. But again, the freebie that I'm giving you for Haro will really tell you step by step how you respond to these things. And just to give you some examples of quoted, National Mortgage News, if there's any mortgage people on here looking for a multifamily apartment lender, about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Money.com, hello, that would be great. Forbes, pretty good. Should companies offer financial incentives to encourage employees to get their COVID-19 shots? Very interesting. House Beautiful, right? A magazine like this, looking for brides, grooms, wedding planners. So if we have any wedding planners on here, well, this was posted a couple days ago, but I'm just showing you all the examples that are available here. U.S. News and World Report. Obviously, crypto lending is huge. If anyone here is on there, there is no reason you cannot get in the media if you are an expert in cryptocurrency right now. I mean, it is one of, next to COVID, probably the hottest topic. I hear about it every single day on the news. And then here's my little hack. I don't know how to spill water. Here's my hack for you. When you'll see when you sign up for Haro and you sign up for Quoted, it gives you the journalist name and their publication. I don't know if these say it here. No, you actually have to click on it. So let's say it's, Christina Daves, entrepreneur. So you find them on LinkedIn. If they have over 500 connections and they're active, you can tell super quick if anyone is active on there. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Hi, Christina, I just saw your Haro query and I submitted for it. If I can be of help on that story or any other story, please let me know. Sign your name. Boom. They will connect with you. They need sources. Start a Google Sheet of your journalists. Especially, I have to tell you, we've been updating ours monthly because in COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs or they lost their, hey, I'm just writing for this newspaper. And then they started doing freelance work for lots of papers. So that's why LinkedIn is such a great resource for that. So keep your list because you'll forget. I promise you'll forget who your journalists are. I mean, other than the ones I've gotten to be good friends with, I'm like, oh, wow, I should reach back out to that person. Media begets media. And the other thing is they change around. They'll go to different places. One of my first interviews ever was examiner.com. If you guys remember Examiner, like forever ago. And 2 years later, the gal emailed me and she said, Christina, I always loved your story. I'm with Forbes now. Would it be okay to do another interview? It's like, yeah, you sure can, Forbes. So building these relationships, staying in touch with them. I know of no better way to get eyeballs on your business than media, unless you pay for it. Unless you pay for advertising, which we all have to do anyway. But I don't know about you all, I'm about done with Facebook ads. They keep changing algorithms and I call it the Facebook Foundation. I'm just giving money to it. So I prefer media that doesn't cost me anything. And I connect with them on LinkedIn and I stay connected and I build a rapport. And then I have all this amazing media that I can then push out to people and show them, hey, look, this is me. You can read about me. You can have somebody else telling you all about me, which is awesome. Okay. So that's being newsworthy. I hope you guys, everyone should have had an aha moment on this, whether it's newsjacking or whether it's the calendar or whether it's signing up for the national queries. You should have something and you can write it in the chat box and I'll look at them afterwards, but I would love to hear your aha moments of, Christina, I've got this. Okay, next up is hooks. This is all super easy. Hooks are how you grab someone's attention. What's in that subject line that's going to make that journalist go, ooh, I've got to read that email. So here's one of my clients, Janelle Anamalechi. She is a pediatric dentist. So she had done this whole video and this whole campaign, but there was no hook. There was no hook. So what if a pediatric dentist told you that she could help your child sleep? Now this is a big hook. We would narrow it down. But anyone, I had young kids once, my kids didn't sleep. Wait, the dentist is going to help my kids sleep? You're challenging someone's thoughts. You're getting them to think outside of the box. You're getting them to jump into that bowl by themselves. That's interesting. That's getting journalists to listen. Wait, what? What do you mean? Not the pediatrician, but the dentist is going to help my child sleep. You see how that's a wow. So how do you do hooks? I am not a good copywriter. True confessions here, and you don't need to be. None of you do. Look at magazine covers. These people are paid a ton of money to write hooks. Where do we buy a magazine? Impulse purchase at the grocery store, which I have now found lately that magazines are $7. I don't know when that happened. But look at, we'll go back to your ideal client. Who's that person you're dying to work with? What are they reading? What are they watching? Get your hooks off of magazines that they're reading. Don't copy them verbatim, but you can see a system. 3 ways to this. 7, you see 100 on here. Look at what the hooks say and figure out how you can change some words around and make the hook yours. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And you can Google this. AARP is fabulous. Google AARP magazine covers and see what they do. National Enquirer, I heard, are the most highly paid copywriters, but none of us will probably be using National Enquirer hooks in our media pitches. Although I did have a real estate agent who took one off of Cosmo, and it said, how to get the biggest O in real estate, and it was offer. It was really cute, and he did get some traction with that. So again, if you can, clean it up, if you're going traditional media, you can even look at Cosmo for things like that. And then the next one is coming up next. Think of TV. Coming up next, my favorite was coming up next, a book your children will actually want to read this summer, because my kids were not interested in reading. That hooked me in to keep me through the commercials to stay. So you'll start to hear this now too. Those are hooks. If you hear one, write it down, change it up a little bit so that it works for your business, for what you're trying to attract the media with. If you just say media pitch, and yeah, they're looking for pitches, but if you can give them some wow factor in that subject line, you have a much greater chance of them actually reading your pitch. And you want it to be a good pitch. That's why I showed you on the Newsworthy what a good pitch is. That's valuable to the audience. Don't give them a great hook and then give them a crappy pitch, because then they might never open your emails again. You need all 3 pieces of the formula to really make this work. Okay, last piece of the formula is finding the right journalist. How am I on time? Okay, we're good. Everybody write this down. Greatest resource ever. Google. Google is a question search engine. I hopped on Google literally 5 minutes before this. Who writes about business for Newsday? Looks like Newsday is one of your local papers. This pops right up. Boom, Jamie Herslick, Newsday, business columnist. So then I clicked on her name. And this is what you get. You get her Newsday. If you click on Newsday, you'll actually get her emails right there. Muckrack is a media source. Don't join Muckrack. You don't need to. So you don't even need to look at that. But there's her LinkedIn. Remember, I just talked about connecting with her. If she's active on there, hey, Jamie, I live here. I'd love to be able to share stories with you, share resources. I've been here a long time. I'm a business who's been here a long time. Make it valuable to them. Show them the love. Jamie, I love your column. I would love to help you out on any future stories. Let's connect here on LinkedIn. And then her Twitter. And I'm going to talk about Twitter lists in a minute. Even if you're not active on Twitter, which really none of you need to be, there's no local business at this point in time, as big as Instagram and Facebook are, that needs to be active. But we're going to go through social media profiles in a minute. But definitely you want Twitter, just because I'm going to show you how to do a Twitter press list, and so you can pay attention to what your journalists are talking about. So it's really that easy. I mean, that's the PR piece of it. You guys excited? I'm going to just show you 2 success stories from people from the biggest objections that I get, to show you all that every single person who is here today or watching the recording can do this, and can do this well. Anybody new? Brand new in your business? No excuse. Meet Dustin. Dustin is a real estate agent, took one of my trainings and hired me 2 weeks after he got his real estate license. 2 weeks. He was a manager at Bed Bath & Beyond. Very successful, was very good at Facebook ads. So he's like, Christina, I've got this. I'm going to pitch the Washington Post. How do you sell homes using Facebook ads? And I'm like, oh my God, Dustin, I love you. course, I'm like, listen, Washington Post is big. Probably not going to happen right out of the gate, but it could. I do have a lot of people who've had success in less than 30 days, but I always want to say it might not happen. So he does this amazing hook. It was back when we had all the mess with Facebook ads and the Russians hacking. And he said, if the Russians can hack the election with Facebook ads, you should be able to sell your house the same way. Something along that. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And he got the story. So this training was Thanksgiving. His article ran December 4th, and I left him. He had 3 young girls. I called him or texted him after Christmas, and this is what he sent back to me. So he got $5 million plus listings in 6 weeks from this one article. First year in real estate. If there are any agents on here, you're going to die when you hear this. First year out of the gate, he did 24 million in sales. First year. He's doubled that consistently. So I saw him before COVID. I'm like, Dustin, why don't you do another article? Like, you had so much success. He said, Christina, I don't need to. I take this one article to every listing appointment. I win them all. How would you guys like to have one article? That's all you need to blow up your business. Okay, so Dustin is new. Here's another new. How many of you are thinking, oh, I'm too old for this? Like, I can't do this. So meet Connie. Connie invented a product called Tip and Split. Connie was a lifelong educator. She did this in her 70s. Stopped teaching, retired. She was a grandmother. But what she found was that she couldn't, if you all, like my mom and even me in my 50s, I can't see anything anymore. So she invented this little Tip and Split. You guys can Google it. It's a calculator, it's a magnifying glass, and it's a light. And I know what you're thinking. Christina, my phone does all that. Why do I need Tip and Split? Because it's not your demographic. She knew her demographic was in their 70s. Like my mom's age, they love all the widows. They all go out to dinner together. There's 7 of them. They can calculate the bill and they can split the tip on their little thing that they carry in their purse. They have their glass, their magnifying glass, their light. So she didn't pitch this to standard media outlets. She pitched the story. What do you get the grandma who has everything? And this is what she was in 1 year. 1 year. She sold so many of her product. Today's Show, Good Morning America, The View, it goes on and on and on. So just by following the system, she did this. So these are real people, you guys, just like me. Anybody can have success doing this. You just have to do. You just have to do it. Okay, so now I want to dive into social media and cover just the basics of it. I mean, obviously this could be a whole nother class, but I'm going to give you guys some tweaks in every single platform to make yourself stand out. So whichever platform you use, just take some notes, super easy. This is not going to be difficult. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oh wait, now I have to go back. Let's see if I can, hold on. Now I need to share a different screen. Okay. All right, hopefully you guys can all see this. So LinkedIn profile. This right here is your gold. Do not put CEO of John Smith Bank. Nobody's searching for that. What do? I put speaker and trainer first. You see, I added virtual. That was COVID. I needed people to understand, hey, I'm a virtual presenter. I know how to do this. I help you get massive visibility through media. Boom. That people see, it's that 3 seconds. They've got to know. They see I'm an on-air expert. I'm a PR strategist. Let them know what you can do for them. What's that problem that you solve? And put that right here. And fill out your profile as much as you can. I don't care if you don't use LinkedIn. LinkedIn has so much Google power that when people put your name into Google, a lot of times LinkedIn will come up before your website does, and people are going to click the first thing they see. So if you're not active on LinkedIn, I don't care. Spend an hour this weekend and do these tweaks. Make it so good. Your about section should be in the first person. Use some emojis here. I could probably do more. This is one of my clients. I actually love his that I wrote that I should probably copy his a little bit more. It's so, you see how he has capital letters and check marks. These are all the kinds of, this is what he believes in real estate. The clients that he works with, boom. Oh, I'm over 50. Oh, baby boomers and seniors. Here's some specifics of the types of people he works with. Here's his phone number, always phone number, email. This is one of the best profiles we've done. But using the emojis, using capital letters, you just stand out a little bit more. So you can look at his, Dale Strasser, Keller Williams, he's a rock star. Look, your real estate champion in, and then the towns that he sells in. And this is his big thing, is that he's highly trusted, and he's a wonderful man. Okay, so hold on, that's Facebook, back to LinkedIn. Did I say first person? Always tell people your story. What's your why? This is your opportunity to tell people why you do what you do and who you help. Articles, features, get this stuff in here. You have all this place to put stuff. And this is not, I'm trying to think, it's really hard to look at your own profile, but there's a feature section. Maybe I should, let's see, because I want you guys to see this, because it's a great opportunity for you to put stuff in. So this is my back end, but here in this feature, put video. No matter what you do, this is a great time. If you have a PDF, if you have whatever is unique to show people that you have, this is a great place for your assets. So I have my virtual reel, my hosting reel, my on-air expert reel. I talk about cosmetic design. So it's all here, my speaker reel. Again, you don't have to be active, but it's better if you are. Make sure your past jobs you fill this out. Let people learn about you. So you have all of this. The more you can fill out, the better. And then at the bottom, you want to get recommendations. And if somebody has given you a testimonial, that's a lot for the service providers, more so than the brick and mortars, but it's still what you can do. You just request right here, ask for a recommendation, get that person up there. If they've already given you one, take a cut and paste of it, stick it, do your ask, send them an email. Hey, Johnny, I just asked for a recommendation on LinkedIn. Here's one you already gave me. If you wouldn't mind, could you just cut and paste that into LinkedIn? That would be so helpful for me. Boom, you're done. So that's your LinkedIn profile. Yay, done. Fill it out. Have the muscle, because a lot of people are going to only see you here. Okay, Facebook. Again, I'm looking at my own. This is so frustrating. This is a video. So if you guys go to Facebook, it's PR for Anyone, Christina Daves. This is a video that runs. It gives you some highlights of my business that pop out at you. Again, take the time to fill out everything on your page. This is all SEO stuff. All of this stuff down here, get your email in there, get your phone number in there, get all of your other accounts linked on here. You want people to be able to find you. And then my biggest tips for this, you always want a call to action at the end. Let's say you're a pizza place and you're showing me this fabulous piece of pizza. Who wants in? What's your favorite pizza topping? Friday's pizza night is usually family pizza night. Put in the comments below, what's your favorite? And then the super cool thing that's really relatively new is the hashtags. So let's say, I'm just going to do pizza topping. I have no idea what's going to come up. Pizza topping has 10,000 posts. Pizza toppings. Pizza topping has less than one. If you do pizza, it's like 2 million. Hold on, let me do it this way. 21 million posts. Nobody's going to find your pizza post if you just do hashtag pizza. But if you do hashtag pizza topping, if you do hashtag North Hempstead, hashtag pizza lover, it's 1.7 million. You want to keep them low, 10,000, 1,000, 50,000 for local businesses. Pick 3 and only do 3 hashtags, and don't cut and paste your Instagram post to your Facebook or your Facebook to your Instagram. Different algorithms, even though they're owned by the same, and they're going to ding you for that. So speak the language of the platform that you're on. So Facebook, always have a call to action. If you're posting an article, don't just post an article, give your expertise. Just read this article in Forbes. I actually think that they should have said X, Y, and Z. Show me you're the expert in that article. Even though you weren't quoted in it, give me your expertise. That's that extra thing that people are not doing to connect with people on Facebook. Okay, now we are going to go to Instagram. Brick and mortars, absolutely you need to be on Instagram. Probably the only place you need to be. I mean, I like for you to be on Instagram and Facebook, but emojis are huge. It's how people, it breaks everything up. Highlights, if you don't have highlights, you need highlights. These are little stories that you tell in there that you can kind of sort your content out, but people can see, like, let's see what they have. I haven't looked, so could be a surprise. They talk about their catering. Oh no, see, they don't have a lot in here. Let's see if they have warm food. Yeah, see here, they're just showing perfect post-workout snack. So these are stories that you can save in highlights. Super easy to make. You can probably do them in Canva. If not, Fiverr is a great resource to have somebody help you with them. But this is the stuff you want if you're a restaurant. You want pictures of your food. Entice me to come in. And then you see we have more hashtags in Instagram than we do in Facebook because it's a different platform. And I know the person who runs this account, so I know they've done some homework on it. Beverly Hills Eats. It's probably a really good hashtag, Eater LA. I don't know what Nom Nom is, but it must be, a decently followed hashtag. So these you want to break up. You want 20 hashtags a post. You want 5 that have the low number. You can take 5 with the high number, like the millions and millions. And then you want 15 in the middle, like that 50,000 search range. And the more you do this, and you got to change up your hashtags, you got to do a little homework to be successful at this, but keep a spreadsheet of them. But don't copy and paste the same hashtags on every post because Instagram doesn't like that and they won't let as many people see it. So that's why I say do one platform and do it really well. Like, what's the one you love? What's the one that resonates with you? Because your people will find you. You will connect with your people. And then if you know about Linktree, which is right here, if you have a lot of things to say, order, pickup, or delivery, view our menu, buy a gift card, order catering, that's, again, Linktree, but it's linktr.ee. There's no cost to do it. You set it up, you put all the things on there, and then you can put your link tree here. And they could have even said something like, order online, learn more about us with the down arrow. And then just again, it's the pictures. And if you have specials, put those on there. If you have coupons, put them on there. Get people to come in. But you see the emojis. I love this. The rooftop, the wine, 5 to 9, the pizza, I love the little pointy emoji. Okay, and the last piece of this is Twitter. Don't be on Twitter. Don't waste your time on Twitter. But start an account and start a press list as we're building all this muscle, because most of your journalists are on Twitter. And you're just it's super easy. You just create a list. And here are some of mine. So here's my press list. So you just put people in, and you can put them in anonymously so they don't know that they're in there. But this way you get to see what the people you're following, like Charles Payne. I can see what kinds of stuff he's covering. So he's on Fox. Actually, I have a client who tried 6 months and finally got on his show. I'm following Quoted, but here a reporter would like to hear from credit card experts. But this way you can see, let's see, Brian Sullivan, when will the Fed start to raise interest rates? So he's on Power Lunch. So again, you can see what people are talking about. So you could then pitch Brian and say, hey, I saw your tweet and I saw you had 300 votes and most people said this. Here's what I think and here's why. It lets you insert yourself into the conversation. And again, you do this anonymously. You can have as many lists as you want, and you don't have to be active on Twitter. This just lets you get into the conversation that the journalist is having so you can see what they're covering and how you can be the expert. Okay, let me go back. Almost done. I know I gave you guys a lot. Hold on. Okay, so we did LinkedIn, we did Facebook, we did Instagram, we did Twitter. And here's a great story about following on Twitter. This is a client of mine who's a home stager, not a real estate agent, but a stager. And she saw a journalist who said, hey, I need a real estate agent in this area. I want to film a segment at 4 o'clock in one of the homes. And she went right to him and she said, hey, I'm not a realtor, but I'm a stager. I just staged a home. I'll meet you there at 4. And he just changed the story. And instead of saying how hot the market was based on the listings, he said how hot the market was based on how many homes she'd staged in the neighborhood. It's that easy to just change the story. They need these stories. Somebody said to him, you've got to do a story about this community because it's exploding. Go find a real estate agent. And she jumped in and there she was. So I hope you guys can see, and I get so excited, but when you take social media and PR, it's where the magic happens. Use it, do it. Imagine when you get that press too, and you put it on your social media and you tag the media outlet, and then all their people see you, and then your people see how credible you are. So it's just pretty cool. And think about how much money you're leaving on the table by not doing this. It's a lot. I'm telling you, it's a lot. You need to get visible. These days are gone. February 2020, I hope it comes back. I hope we network and do all the things that we did, but it's going to be a while. So it's really important that you guys learn how to stand out, and doing this is the easiest way I know how to do it. So thank you guys for your time. I'm just going to throw this up there. If you go to freegiftfromchristina.com, it's a guide in there that will go over everything that I went through. It will give you lots of ideas, and it will give you a step-by-step how to respond to those national queries in HARO if that's something that you're interested in. So free gift from Christina. And now I am happy to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Christina, for that fabulous presentation. I do have a couple of questions for you today. So
awesome.
Mark would like to know, what's the first step to develop your brand efficiently?
What do people think of when they think of you? What is that feeling that you give people? And ask your clients, ask your favorite clients who love you, and say, give me 3 words that you think of when you think of me. That's your brand. That's what you want to come across with.
Thank you. And we have another question from Sam. He would like to know the best way to gain recognition on a Google search.
Again, I am not an SEO expert. I believe in media because like I said throughout the presentation, you're riding their coattails. They have that Google power. So when you're in the media and they link to you, you get that organic SEO. And for me, I mean, you can put my name into Google, you'll see what's there. And that's all organically from press. So that's for me personally, and what I do, and I'm not an SEO expert. So that's how I get my SEO.
Great. And we have another question here from Kenny. Kenny is asking about the best social media platform to use to maximize the greatest reach.
It's the one that you're going to use. Whatever one that is, they will find you. Don't try to be on all at the beginning. Remember, we were all, you have to be everywhere. You don't have to be everywhere. And it really depends on your industry. If you're a restaurant, a realtor, Facebook and Instagram. If you're a service, if you're an accountant, an insurance agent, I would probably be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is business. So it's really, where are your customers hanging out and which one are you going to use? That's the most important thing, because it doesn't matter if you're on it. If you're not using it, they're not going to find you.
Right. Thank you. And our final question today is from Chris. He wants to know how to cut through the noise when you are doing advertising.
Again, I don't do a lot of advertising. That's not my expertise. My expertise is PR and messaging, but even with the advertising, what is your client's pain point and how do you solve their problem? You have to tell them in that second they see your ad, how can you solve their problem?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And then looks like we have one more question here that just came in, Christina, if you have another minute.
Sure, absolutely.
Can you please talk about the authenticity in marketing and taking advantage of themed months? For example, many businesses will be using the Pride Rainbow in their marketing this month, but are not necessarily actively showing support during the rest of the year for different other organizations. I've seen many people trying to utilize this message. Could you please touch on that?
And I think that in authenticity comes through. People know that. They can cut through the BS. I always say that a nonprofit is a great way to get media exposure. And I've worked with a lot of people, but their nonprofit is their passion. And they get exposure for their business because of what they do all year through their nonprofit. So people are going to know if that's not what that company believes in throughout the year, and they're only throwing up the pride, symbol, or, oh, we're doing this, and then they don't do it in a month, people are going to know that. They're going to see right through it. I say be true to yourself and your business, and just do you, and it will all work itself out in the wash.
Thank you. And thank you once again, Christina, for this fabulous presentation and taking some of these questions. As we reach the end of our program, we would like to thank you all for joining us today. And we hope that you learned some great new skills and increase your knowledge on ways to market your company and products. Please continue to be safe and well. Have a great day.
Great. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.